So your agent has tools, it handles failures gracefully, and you can measure its performance. For production deployments, you'll also need to handle operational workflows like collecting consent and escalating to human agents when needed. Real-world voice agents need to do more than just answer questions. You need to collect recording consent before capturing calls, which is often legally required. You need to escalate to humans when the AI can't help or the user requests it. You need to hand off between specialized agents based on conversational context. And you need to preserve context across these transitions. So let's build these capabilities step by step. Tasks are focused units of work that complete and return a result. They're perfect for structured interactions like consent collection, where you need a clear yes or no answer before proceeding. So let's build a task that collects recording consent. We're going to add another import here from LiveKit agents, AgentTask. So next we're going to define the consent task. So we have a new class here, collect consent, which extends the agent task. And so this is going to return a Boolean, true or false. The instructions ask for recording consent and get a clear yes or no answer. Be polite and professional. That's important. On enter, this method starts when the task starts. And so there's instructions here, briefly introduce yourself and then ask for permission to record the call for quality assurance and training purposes. Make it clear that they can decline. And then we have two function tools. We have consent given and consent declined. And it basically just returns true or false. So now we can use this task in our main agent. So now if we go into our assistant, first let's go ahead and update our instructions. We're going to change these from our last agent. You are a friendly customer service representative. Very simple. And then we don't need any of these other tools that we used in our last lesson. So we'll just go ahead and replace all of this. So here is our new assistant class. So you're a friendly customer service representative. On enter, collect consent. If we have consent, then thank them and offer them your assistance. If they declined consent, let them know that you understand and you will proceed without recording. So this pattern keeps consent collection clean and separate from your main agent logic. So let's go ahead and try this out. Make sure you save it, open up your terminal, and let's run the agent in the console.
Hello. Before we proceed, I'd like to introduce myself. I'm your assistant here to help with any questions or support you need. May I have your permission to record this call for quality assurance and training purposes? You are free to decline if you prefer. Could you please let me know if that is okay with you? A clear yes or no would be great.
Yes.
Thank you for your consent. How can I assist you today?
Very good. So it works. Now, if you're using LiveKit's agent observability features and you want session recordings to respect the user's consent choice, then you could start a new agent session with the record parameter set to false when consent is denied. And this gives you fine-grained control over which sessions get recorded. So check the agent observability docs for more details on session level recording settings. Now, what happens when a user says they want to talk to a manager or escalate in some way? Let's take a look at that. Let's go ahead and add another class. So this is going to be our manager agent. And here's the instructions. You are a customer service manager. You handle escalated issues that frontline agents could not resolve. Be empathetic and solution focused. You have authority to offer refunds, credits, or other accommodations. Very nice. And we can also change the voice here. Of course, we want to make sure that the voice is different because the manager obviously is a different person. So let's go back into our main assistant agent and let's update the instructions. All right, so you're a friendly customer service representative, help customers with general inquiries. If they ask for a manager or you can't resolve their issue, use the escalate to manager tool. And so let's go ahead and add that tool now. So escalate to manager is going to be transfer the customer to a manager when requested, or you can't resolve their issue, and return manager agent. So it's going to call that manager agent and say, transferring you to a manager now. And so when a tool returns a new agent as the first value in the tuple, the session automatically hands off control to that agent. And the second value there is the message that it's going to speak before that handoff completes. Now, by default, each agent starts fresh, but you usually want the manager to know what's already been discussed. So we want to make sure that that conversation history persists. So notice in the escalation tool here, in the manager agent, we're actually passing in that context here to the new agent. This carries the full conversation history to the manager, so they can pick up right where the previous agent left off. So let's give this one a whirl.
Hello. Before we proceed, may I kindly ask for your permission to record this call for quality assurance and training purposes? Your consent is entirely voluntary, and you may decline if you prefer. Could you please let me know if you agree to this recording?
No.
Thank you for letting me know. I understand and will proceed without recording. How can I assist you today?
I really need to speak with a manager right now, please.
I am transferring you to a manager now. They will assist you shortly.
Hello, I'm the customer service manager. I understand you asked to speak with someone senior. I'm here to help. Could you please share the details of your concern so I can assist in resolving it?
No concerns. I just wanted to speak to you. Thanks. Bye. How easy was that to get to a manager? Now, for complex workflows with multiple steps like collecting shipping information, you can use a task group. A task group lets you define multiple tasks that run in sequence. Each task has an ID and a description, and when the group completes, you can then access the results by that ID. And here is an example of a task group that collects both an email and shipping address. So first, we're going to import our task group from Agents Beta Workflows, and then our AgentTask function tool and run context like we have in the past, as well as this data class to define our email result and address result. And then we're just going to define two simple tasks. We have a get email task and a get address task. The get email task collects an email address and stores it in a data class. And then the get address task does the same thing for the shipping address. And then in the checkout agent, we're going to create a task group, and then we're going to add both of those to the task group. Along with that, we will add an ID and a description for each. And each task is wrapped in a Lambda, so it can be reinitialized if the user needs to go back and make a correction. And then we just await that task group, and then it runs each task in sequence. And once complete, we access the results by their task ID and confirm the order details with the user. So one of the great things about task groups is they support going back to previous steps if the user needs to make corrections. So this makes multi-step data collection feel natural. And then for the ultimate escalation, you might need to transfer to an actual human agent. And so this typically involves SIP for telephony. So first you'll want to disable interruptions so that the transfer message plays fully, and then use the SIP integration to dial out to your phone system and bridge to a human agent. Now, SIP and telephony configuration is its own topic with more setup involved. And so we'll have separate videos that go deeper into telephony. That's not going to be covered in this workshop. And so don't worry if this part seems a little complex. For now, I'll show you the patterns for how human handoff works. And that would look like this. So we're going to import function tool, run context, and get job context, and then define this tool, transfer to human, and then transfer the call to a human agent. So we're going to disallow the interruption. And then we're going to say, I'm transferring you to a human agent now. Please hold on. So then we get the room context, and then we await this publish SIP participant, including the SIP trunk ID and the dial to information that is specific to your SIP configuration. So then the SIP integration dials out to your phone system and bridges in the human agent. So a complete production agent flow might look like this. First, the consent task collects recording permission, and then a triage agent determines the user's needs. And then a specialized agent handles the specific request, whether it's billing, support, or sales. And then escalations to a manager occurs as needed. And then a human handoff is the last resort. Each transition preserves relevant context while allowing agents to have different personalities, tools, and permissions. Congratulations, you built a production quality voice agent from scratch. You covered STT, LLM, TTS, and why WebRTC matters for real-time audio. You learned semantic turn detection to prevent awkward interruptions. You crafted system prompts, selected voices, and built fallback adapters for resilience. You measured performance and enabled preemptive generation. You connected your agent to external APIs and MCP servers. And you built production workflows with tasks and agent handoffs. Your agent can now listen in real time, respond naturally, call external services, collect structured information, and hand off to specialized agents or even humans when needed. So here is where you go next. Browse the LiveKit agent's documentation for advanced topics like telephony, video processing, and real-time models. Explore the Python agents example repository for more complex workflows. Join the LiveKit community Slack to ask questions and share what you're building. And be sure to check out LiveKit Cloud for production hosting with built-in observability like we looked at. Links to all of these things are in the video description. And one more thing that I want to introduce you to is the LiveKit Cloud Agent Builder. Agent Builder is a visual tool that generates a basic voice agent in minutes. You configure the providers through the web interface, you set the system prompts, and it generates the Python code for you that you can then download and even deploy directly from the interface. The code that Agent Builder generates is yours. You can download it, open it up in your own editor, customize it, add the tools, the workflows, and the custom logic that you learned in this workshop. Agent Builder gives you a great starting point, and everything that you learned here applies to extending that code. Now, why didn't we just start with Agent Builder? Well, it would have been much easier, yes, but I wanted you to see exactly how to start from scratch. Agent Builder can get you up and running quickly. Now, beyond the basics, you can also configure tools directly in the Builder interface and test your agent with a built-in test interface before deploying. And when you're ready, one-click deploy pushes your agent to LiveKit Cloud. If you want a full walkthrough of Agent Builder specifically, go check out our other video tutorial on that. I'll leave a link in the video description. You can find Agent Builder in your LiveKit Cloud dashboard under Agents. So go build a basic agent there, download the code, and you'll recognize those same patterns and components that you built from scratch here in this workshop. Now, I hope this workshop was helpful. Thank you for following along. Now go build something great.